learned from my grandmother, who was a Spencer. And then she had a son, and that's because of her son, who was the chairman, not the mayor then, because they had no mayors before was chairman. So he was in the chairmanship for 24 years in this island. And then because he was the chairman, he was able to know in the county where land was being sold, and only made $230 a month pay, but land was only 10 cents a square foot. So he bought the land there in Kohala, it was really cheap. And he built a house there. So when you go down there, there's an old house that's kind of falling apart, way in the back. So that was his house. After he retired, he had that house made, and then he took care of the whole area by himself. Then he came to my grandma's house when I was 8 years old, and he said that he wanted to sell his land, and my grandmother said, "Which one? You have so many." And he said, quite high. And she said, "Oh, no, you're not going to sell that land." And he said, "Why not? I want to make some money." And she goes, "If you sell it, it'll be to a rich person, or else it's going to be to a hotel." And that is the safest beach here on this island. And so then that's how he was, upset. And I was sitting on my grandma's other rocking chair, because she let me listen to everything that she did in her life from 63 to 87. And so I was born when she was 63. So she took care of me and my younger brother, and then she did genealogy. So she would have me sit down in this special room that she did the genealogy, which is called Kohala. But then we go back to my uncle, and he came and he said he didn't want to listen to my tutu. And my tutu said, "I don't want you to sell. You give the land back to the people of Hawaii." Because by 1948, I was 8 years old, and that was my favorite beach. And my grandmother said, "If you do sell it, no one will enjoy it except the people who bought it." So then he stamped his feet, and like doing this, and then he took off the porch and started walking away from my grandmother's house. And then my grandmother just watched him. But he always came to ask for her advice. And because he did, and he didn't have a wife, the wife died when she was 32 years old in Waimea, because he had a home there. And the home is still there, but it's all falling apart. Where poor Case lives, across from the Fish and Hog restaurant. And so anyhow, he walked, and halfway going out of my grandma's yard, he turned around, come all the way back, walked up slowly up the stairs, looked at my grandma, and said in Hawaiian, "Mai kai," meaning good. And she said, "Mai kai no." And so he turned around and walked really slow. But we never found out if he did or not, never even asked him.